Hey guys, welcome back to Cyber Platter. Today we'll discuss firewalls and what are the different types of firewalls. This is also a very common question in any of the interviews. So first, what is a firewall, right? Firewalls are essential network security devices, or these can be software solutions designed to monitor, filter, and control incoming and outgoing network traffic based on a predefined security rules or policies. Okay, usually it is based on a set of predefined security policies or rules. Say there is trusted internal network and untrusted external network. Trusted internal network can be a company's internal network or home network. Untrusted external network can be the internet. So the primary purpose of a firewall is to act as a barrier between a trusted internal network and an untrusted external network. This protects the internal network from unauthorized access, cyber threats, and malicious activity. Now, let's talk about different types of firewalls and their characteristics, their advantages, disadvantages, their use cases. Okay, we'll start with the first one, which is packet filtering firewall. This firewall is a network security device or software application that operates at the network layer or layer 3 of the OSI model. OSI stands for Open Systems Interconnection, okay? Its primary function is to inspect and control the flow of network traffic based on predefined rules or criteria. These rules or criteria known as ACL, that is access control lists. Okay, these rules determine whether a packet should be allowed to pass through the firewall or should be blocked based on various characteristics of the packet, such as source IP address, destination IP address, or source port, destination port, and protocol type. Now let's see the characteristics of packet filtering firewall in detail. The first characteristic is the packet inspection, like we discussed before. When a packet of data enters the firewall examines the packet's header information, and this header information includes details like source IP address, destination IP address, source and destination ports, and the protocol being used. For example, protocol might be TCP, UDP, ICMP, etc. Next characteristic is comparison with the ACLs. The firewall compares the information in the packet header with the rules that are defined in the ACLs, that is access control lists. These ACLs specify what types of traffic are allowed and what should be blocked. Next characteristic of packet filtering is decision making. Based on the ACL rules, the firewall makes a decision about whether to allow or block the packet. If the packet matches an allowed rule, so these ACLs, right, they have allowed rules and the block rules. So if the packet matches these allowed rules, it is permitted to pass through the firewall and continue its journey to the intended destination. If it matches a blocked rule or doesn't match any rule, then it is either dropped in the sense ignored, okay, or denied passage. Next characteristic we'll be talking is logging and monitoring. Many packet filter firewalls provide logging capabilities, allowing the network admins to track and monitor network traffic. This is useful for troubleshooting, analyzing security incidents, and ensuring that the firewall rules are effectively protecting the network. Something that you should also know is packet firewall is the most basic type of firewall, okay? These firewalls are known for their efficiency and speed in processing network traffic because they operate at a low level in the network stack, that is layer 3, like we said, network layer of the OSI model. Even though it provides efficiency and speed, it has some limitations. Let's see those limitations, okay? First disadvantage is limited context awareness. Packet filtering firewalls do not have the ability to understand the content or context of the data being transmitted, okay? They make decisions solely based on the header of the packet. Next disadvantage is stateless operation. They operate in a stateless manner. That means they do not maintain information about the state of network connections. So they do not have session awareness. This can make them less suitable for handling complex protocols or applications that require session awareness. The next disadvantage is vulnerable to IP spoofing. Packet filtering firewalls can be vulnerable to IP spoofing attacks because they rely on the source IP address in the packet header to make decisions. Attackers can force the source IP address to bypass the firewall. Despite these limitations, packet filtering firewalls are an important component of network security and are often used in combination with other security measures such as intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention systems, and application layer firewalls to provide comprehensive protection for a network. Okay, the next firewall type that we'll discuss is stateful inspection firewall. It is also known as stateful firewall or dynamic packet filtering firewall. This is a more advanced type of network security device or software that operates at the network and transport layers of the OSI model. So network layer is the layer 3, transport layer is layer 4, okay, in the OSI model. So the primary purpose of stateful firewall is to enhance network security by intelligently monitoring and controlling incoming and outgoing network traffic while maintaining an understanding of the state of active network connections. This makes it significantly more sophisticated and effective than basic packet filtering firewalls. Let's look at the characteristics. First one is packet inspection. Similar to basic packet filtering firewalls, a stateful inspection firewall examines the headers of network packets to gather information such as source and destination IP addresses, source and destination port numbers, and the protocol being used. The next characteristic is stateful connections tracking. What distinguishes stateful inspection firewalls is their ability to maintain a state table. State table is also referred to as sometimes, connection table or stateful table. This table records the state and details of active network connections. So when a new connection is initiated, the firewall creates an entry in this table, storing information about the connection, including the source and destination addresses, port numbers, and the state of connection. State of connection can be SYN connection, established connection, pin wait connection. These are some of the examples. And the next characteristic is stateful rule evaluation. As network traffic continues to flow, the firewall continuously inspects packet headers and compares the information to its state table and predefined access control rules, that is ACLs. It takes into account the state information, allowing it to make context aware decisions about whether to permit or deny packets based on the connection's established state. Next characteristic of the stateful firewall is dynamic rule adaptation. So the stateful inspection firewalls can dynamically adapt their rules based on the state of network connections. For example, once a connection is established, the firewall may allow related inbound traffic without requiring specific rule definition, since it recognizes the association with an existing legitimate connection. Next characteristic is session awareness. Since stateful inspection firewalls maintain state information, they possess a level of session awareness, allowing them to understand the context of network sessions. This enables them to detect and prevent certain types of attacks that involve session manipulation or intrusion attempts within an ongoing session. This provides a higher level of security. The next characteristic is logging and monitoring. Like packet filtering firewalls that we discussed, right? Even the stateful inspection firewall typically offers logging and monitoring capabilities. This allows the network administrators to track and analyze network traffic and security incidents. Key advantages of security inspection firewalls include improved security. This is due to their ability to understand the state of network connections and adapt rules accordingly. They are more effective at preventing attacks like IP spoofing and various forms of packet level and session level attacks. So, improved security is the advantage provided by stateful inspection firewall, but they may introduce some latency in processing traffic compared to basic packet filtering firewalls due to the additional state tracking and rule evaluation. Stateful inspection firewalls are commonly used in modern network security architectures and play a crucial role in protecting enterprise networks from sophisticated threats. Okay, the next type of firewall that we'll discuss is proxy firewall. This is also known as application layer firewall or sometimes as application proxy firewall. This is a type of network security device or software that operates at the highest OSI layer, that is layer 7 or application layer. So we learned that packet filtering firewalls and stateful inspection firewalls operate at lower network levels, right? Proxy is at the highest level, and proxy firewalls are designed to provide in-depth inspection and control of network traffic at the application layer. They act as intermediaries between clients and servers, effectively serving as a gateway for application level traffic. So let's see the characteristics in more depth. The first characteristic is intermediary role. Like I mentioned before, proxy firewalls inspect and handle traffic on behalf of client devices. When a client wants to access a remote server, it sends its request to the proxy firewall instead of directly communicating with the server. The next characteristic is app layer inspection. Unlike lower level firewalls that only examine packet headers, proxy firewalls perform deep packet inspection at the application layer. This means they can inspect and analyze the content, protocols, and behaviors of specific applications. Next characteristic is request and response processing. So, there is a client. Like I mentioned, the client sends the request to the proxy firewall instead of the server. So when a client sends a request to the the proxy firewall forwards the request to the destination server. And this is forwarding on behalf of the client, right? The firewall then receives the server's response. So this is the request that it is sending, and it is getting a response from the server, and then it sends it back to the client. This process involves parsing and understanding the application layer data in both the request and response. The next characteristic is content filtering. Proxy firewalls or application firewalls enforce granular access control policies based on application specific criteria. They can allow or block specific applications, URLs, content types. Like, content type can be in the companies, you can block entertainment, like Netflix, you're blocking everything. And these firewalls even provide specific features within the applications to be blocked, like suppose, say, blocking file uploads on social media sites. Okay, the next characteristic is authentication and user access control. Many proxy firewalls support user authentication, which means users must log in before accessing the internet or specific applications. This allows organizations to enforce user specific policies and track user activity. And the next characteristic is caching. Proxy firewalls often include caching capabilities to store frequently accessed content locally. This can improve network performance by reducing the need to fetch the same content repeatedly from remote servers. Next is logging and auditing. Proxy firewalls maintain detailed logs of user activities and application traffic. This information is valuable for security monitoring, compliance, and forensic analysis. And the next characteristic is security and privacy. Proxy firewalls can provide an additional layer of security by isolating the internal network from external threats. They can also enhance user privacy by masking client IP addresses from external servers. Next one is SSL inspection. Some proxy firewalls support SSL and TLS inspection, allowing them to decrypt and inspect encrypted HTTPS traffic for potential threats or policy violations. So, proxy firewalls are often used in environments where granular control over internet usage and application access is required, such as corporate networks, educational institutions, and government organizations. They are effective at protecting against various web based threats, managing bandwidth usage, and ensuring compliance with security and usage policies. So, even though it provides so many advantages, proxy firewalls can introduce some latency due to the additional processing involved in handling application layer traffic, and they may require more resources compared to lower level firewalls. Additionally, configuring and maintaining proxy firewalls can be complex. This is especially true when you're handling larger networks with diverse application requirements. The next firewall type that we'll discuss is circuit level gateway firewall. This is also known as circuit level proxy or a circuit level firewall. It is a network security device or software that operates at the session layer of the OSI model. Session layer is layer 5. Unlike the application layer firewall, which works at the application layer to inspect and filter application specific data, circuit level gateways focus on the session level control of network traffic, particularly for TCP connections, that is transmission protocol connections. Let's look at the characteristics in more depth. First one is, like we mentioned, session level control. Circuit level gateways work by creating a circuit or network connection between two hosts. So this is host 1, this is host 2. It creates a circuit or network connection between them. So usually one host is inside a protected network and the other one is outside a protected network. These gateways do not inspect actual application layer data like HTTP requests or FTP commands, but focus on the establishment and management of network sessions. Next characteristic that we'll discuss is proxying network connections. So say there is a client. This client is inside a protected network and this initiates a connection with an external server. When this connection is initiated, network circuit gateway acts as a proxy by creating a separate connection to the external server on behalf of the client. So this means that the external server sees the circuit level gateway as the source of the connection and not the internal client. Next characteristic is stateful inspection. Circuit level gateways maintain a state table that tracks the status of network sessions primarily for the TCP connections. This allows them to monitor the state of TCP sessions, such as whether they are in the process of being established or they are established or closed. Next characteristic is related to the access control. They can enforce access control policies based on source and destination IP addresses, port numbers, and session level attributes. For example, you can configure rules to allow or deny certain hosts or networks from establishing specific types of TCP connections. The next characteristic is related to NAT, that is network address translation. Circuit level gateways may perform NAT, which involves changing the source or destination IP addresses and port numbers to obscure the internal network structure from external hosts. NAT can enhance security and privacy. Like we said here, right, while discussing proxy, that the external server can see only the proxy in the sense the gateway, circuit level gateway, and not the client. The next characteristic is application agnostic. Unlike application layer firewalls, circuit level gateways are application agnostic. They do not examine the content of the data being transmitted, making them suitable for scenarios where only session level control and basic network protection are needed. So, circuit level gateways are often used in situations where a high level of network connectivity is required, but detailed inspection of application data is not necessary or may not be desirable. They are commonly used in VPN concentrators and in scenarios where secure tunneling or connectivity between networks is essential. While circuit level gateways provide certain benefits such as network level security and the ability to obscure internal network details, they have limitations too. First is they do not provide granular application level control or content filtering, making them less suitable for enforcing application specific security policies. For comprehensive security, organizations often use circuit level gateways in conjunction with other security measures such as application layer firewalls or intrusion detection or prevention systems. The next firewall type that we will discuss is next generation firewall. A next generation firewall is a sophisticated network security device or software that combines the capabilities of traditional firewalls with advanced features to provide a comprehensive and multi-layered security for modern network environments. These firewalls are designed to address the evolving threat landscape and the complex network traffic patterns associated with today's IT infrastructure. They operate at multiple layers of the OSI model, including layer 3, that is the network layer, layer 4, that is the transport layer, and layer 7, which is the application layer, and offers several key features and functionalities. Let's see few of them. The first one is packet filtering and stateful inspection. Like traditional firewalls, next generation firewalls perform packet filtering and stateful inspection to analyze and control network traffic based on source and destination IP addresses, port numbers, and protocols. This basic level of security helps prevent unauthorized access and basic network level attacks. Next characteristic is application awareness. Next generation firewalls go beyond simple port based filtering by using deep packet inspection (DPI) and application identification techniques to recognize and control applications and services running on the network. This enables them to enforce granular access policies based on specific applications or application categories. Next one is intrusion detection and prevention. Next generation firewalls often incorporate intrusion detection and prevention capabilities to detect and block suspicious or malicious network traffic. They use signature based and behavior based techniques to identify known and zero-day threats. Next characteristic is web filtering. Next generation firewalls can filter web content by inspecting URLs, web pages, and web application traffic. This allows them to block access to malicious websites, enforcing content policies, and protect against web based threats like malware and phishing. Next is antivirus and anti malware. Many next generation firewalls include antivirus and anti malware scanning capabilities to inspect files and attachments for known malware signatures and behavior patterns. They can block or quarantine infected files to prevent them from entering the network. Next is SSL and TLS inspection. Next generation firewalls can decrypt and then inspect the encrypted SSL TLS traffic to detect threats hidden within encrypted connections. This feature is crucial for identifying and blocking malicious activities in encrypted traffic. Next characteristic is advanced threat detection. Next generation firewalls may incorporate advanced threat detection technologies such as sandboxing and machine learning to identify and mitigate previously unknown or sophisticated threats. Next is user and identity awareness. Next generation firewalls can integrate with authentication systems to associate network traffic with specific users or user groups. This allows for more precise access control and policy enforcement based on user identity. Next characteristic is application control. That is, in addition to identifying applications, next generation firewalls can control and prioritize application traffic based on business needs and security policies. This helps organizations optimize network performance and protect critical applications. Next is logging and reporting. Next generation firewalls provide extensive logging and reporting capabilities, allowing network administrators to monitor network activity, generate security reports, and analyze incidents for forensic purposes. Next generation firewalls are highly versatile and are used in various network environments, including corporate networks, data centers, and cloud infrastructure. They play a crucial role in protecting against a wide range of cyber threats, ensuring compliance with security policies, and maintaining network performance and availability. Due to their comprehensive security features, next generation firewalls are considered a fundamental component of modern cybersecurity strategies. The next firewall type we'll discuss is host based firewall, also sometimes known as personal firewall. It is a security software or component installed on an individual computer or host system to protect that specific host from unauthorized access, network threats, and malicious activities. Unlike network level firewalls that operate at the network perimeter, host based firewalls are designed to protect the host system itself, providing an additional layer of defense. Let's see the characteristics. First is installation on host systems. Host based firewalls are installed directly on individual computers or devices, such as servers, workstations, laptops, or mobile devices. Each host runs its firewall independently. Next is packet filtering. Host based firewalls perform packet filtering at the network layer, that is layer 3, and transport layer, that is layer 4. They inspect incoming and outgoing network packets and apply predefined rules to determine whether to allow or block the traffic. These rules are typically based on criteria like source and destination IP addresses, port numbers, and protocols. Next characteristic is application control. In addition to packet filtering, host based firewalls can provide application level control. They can recognize specific applications or services running on the host and enforce access policies based on the applications themselves. This allows for granular control over which applications are allowed to access the network. Next is stateful inspection. Many host based firewalls employ stateful inspection, keeping track of the state of network connections and ensuring that incoming packets are part of legitimate established connections. This enhances security by preventing malicious incoming traffic. Next is logging and monitoring. Host based firewalls maintain logs of network activities, including allowed and denied connections, blocked intrusion attempts, and other security events. These logs are valuable for security monitoring and incident response. Next is user and identity awareness. Some host based firewalls can integrate with user authentication systems, associating network traffic with specific users or user groups. This allows for user specific access control and monitoring. The next characteristic is customized security policies. Administrators can configure custom security policies on individual host systems to tailor the firewall's behavior to the specific needs and security requirements of each host. host. This level of customization can be especially important in environments with diverse security needs. Next one is protection against local threats. Host based firewalls not only protect against external threats but also safeguard the host system from threats originating within the same network or system. Next is intrusion prevention. Some host based firewalls include intrusion prevention features that can detect and block various forms of network based attacks and suspicious behaviors at the host level. Let's see some of the use cases where host based firewalls are commonly used. First is protecting laptops and mobile devices when connected to untrusted networks. Another use case is securing servers and workstations in data centers or remote offices. Another use case is to implement personal firewalls on individual computers to enhance their security posture. Host based firewalls are a valuable security layer, but they are not a substitute for network level firewalls and other security measures. In a comprehensive security strategy, host based firewalls complement network level protections to create a multi layered defense against cyber threats. So, these are the different types of firewalls. So, we learned about different types of firewalls. First, we learned about packet filtering firewall, stateful inspection firewall, proxy level firewall, circuit level firewall, and next generation firewall, host based firewall. So these are the different types. If you're somebody who's preparing for an interview or want to know more about different cybersecurity topics, I would highly recommend to go through the playlist that is in the description box, which has many different topics that are being discussed. Okay, I will see you soon with another topic. Until then, bye bye.